to Drumchapel St. Andrew's virtual church. I hope you're well. It's weird, I'm aware that today recording this is much lighter because the clocks have changed, and it just seems incredible what has happened over this past year. This time last year, I was just back from a trip to India. Molly had not long arrived from America, and all of that just seems like an eternity away, and it is incredible what has happened over the past year. If somebody had said to you this time last year what the year ahead would look like, you absolutely would not have believed them. Thank you so much for checking in today. It is really good to connect with you online, and it's good to just have a sense that our wider church family have been together throughout this. So thank you for your love, your support, and just for being there. Our theme for today is Songs from My Heart. And again, what I'd invite you to do during the service is to pause me and to click on the links for our various songs and videos throughout the service. In Facebook, it's the post below this one. And in YouTube, if you go down underneath the video, and usually there's some suggested videos after that, if you go below them, there's a comment section, and the first in the comment section gives the links to all our different videos and songs. So please pause me and listen to them during the service. Our first song today is This Little Light of Mine. I love cats, and I'm going to invite you now to pause me and to watch our first video, which is from Kittosaurus. It's like a whole household full of cats. So please watch the next video. What is fascinating about that is that each cat finds its own way through the maze. Even when they're together, they don't follow each other. Each one of them does things its own way. And I guess that's where the expression herding cats comes from, because you can't get cats to do things together. Every cat is a complete and absolute individual. Cats are always themselves. Whatever else is going on, whatever else is happening round about them. They will do things together, but they will always find their own way. Today's story is about being true to yourself. And it's being true to yourself that helps you to discover who you really are. Let's do a prayer. God, sometimes there's stuff going on around me, and it influences how I think or how I behave. Sometimes I'm influenced by other people, and I feel I've got to do things because of what they might think of me or what they expect of me. Today, help me to reach beyond that. Help me, whatever is going on, whatever voices there are around me, to be true to myself, and to find that when I am, that's when I discover who I really am. Amen. And our song, if you want to pause me, is Dreams. I invite you to take a moment and to make yourself a part of our prayer. God, in this moment, I want to be true to myself. There are so many situations I find myself in where I'm afraid to be true to myself because of what others might think of me, because I don't want to let someone down, because I think I might be wrong. And there is always a cost to not being true to myself. For a moment, I rise above the circumstances in which I find myself, above all the thoughts that preoccupy me, and I reach for my higher self, the part of me that is free of all the things that stop me being the best I can be. God, I know that when I am in higher self, I recognize you more clearly. I have a deeper sense of myself and of the paths that will lead me to where I need to be. I recapture my sense of wonder and my excitement for what lies ahead. Sometimes I have to let go of a dream and wait for another. I want to find courage when I fear the mountains in the distance, and integrity when I'm drawn to the path of least resistance. When I'm faced with the choice to sit it out or dance, I want to dance. I make space to think of the world, for peace, understanding, cooperation, concepts that feel as far away as ever today. A thought for the presidential elections in America and for the continued uncertainty around Brexit. A thought for those making decisions for our country, particularly at this time. Whether or not I agree with them, they have a tough shift. A thought for those who are living with the death of someone they love. For those dealing with breakups. For those facing and recovering from surgery. For those struggling with mental health. And a thought for myself, to still see the good in a challenging world, always to offer love and kindness where I can, and for the inner energy to bring light to every person and every situation I encounter. Amen. Our Bible reading is in the book of Matthew, chapter 23, from verse 1 through 12. Then Jesus spoke to the crowds and to his disciples. The teachers of the law and the Pharisees are the authorized interpreters of Moses' law. So you must obey and follow everything they tell you to do. Do not, however, imitate their actions, because they don't practice what they preach. They tie onto people's backs loads that are heavy and hard to carry, yet they aren't willing even to lift a finger to help them carry those loads. They do everything so that people will see them. They love the best places at feasts and reserved seats in the synagogues. They love to be greeted with respect in the marketplaces and to have people call them teacher. You must not be called teacher, because you are all equal and have only one teacher. And you mustn't call anyone here on earth Father, because you've only one Father in heaven. Nor should you be called leader, because your one and only leader is the Messiah. The greatest one among you must be your servant. Whoever makes themselves great will be humbled, and whoever humbles himself will be made great. And please pause me and click onto the link for our next song, which is There Is None Like You. At the heart of today's story is being true to yourself. And that's not always an easy thing to do. This message will transform your life. This is about who you are and what you do. The Pharisees have different sets of standards for others and for themselves. They're telling people one thing and they're doing something different. As the guardians of people's morals, they're making people live looking over their shoulders. And maybe we can identify with that way more now than we might have even a year ago. There are so many rules right now, and sometimes you just forget. One of the things I'm finding really hard right now is that you have to think about everything. You feel under pressure because you're not absolutely sure when's the right time to do something and not do something. There is nothing that you do that is automatic pilot. Whereas before, there was stuff that you did and you just didn't have to think about it. And the other side of that is that people seem to have become so judgmental. I want you to pause me for a moment and watch our next video. As if the walkway is not scary enough without having special cracking effects put into it. Hey, life is hard. You don't need things that make it harder than it already is. It is never good to allow yourself to be driven or defined by fear. And I say that absolutely from the heart, because often fear is my first reaction. That's probably why Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway has been such a powerful book for me, because that's something I need to remind myself all the time. Feel the fear and do it anyway. Today's big question is, how can you live true to yourself? Who sets your agenda? I was looking at some house adverts, and there was a house in Renfrew. It listed nearest station 0.7 miles, in brackets, Yoker. What they didn't point out is that there is a river in between. Don't ever underestimate the value of integrity. As long as you are true to yourself, you don't have to be what anyone else wants you to be. Always have the courage to be you. It's just over a year since I returned from Peace of Mind retreat in India. It was just the most incredible experience. And it's been interesting since then, throughout this past year, to reflect on my experience there. And I've watched the video of it often. The ethos there is peace and acceptance. It was a place to be yourself. 200 people from all over the world. And I knew no one. that wasn't intimidating. It was so freeing because nobody had any preconceptions or expectations of me. People met me as me, not me as anything else. I could be myself. And I returned home wanting that for my life here too, because I realise that so often I find myself in a place where I am in a role and I have expectations to meet, sometimes others and sometimes my own. I recognised that there is nothing stopping me from being myself. I don't need to be influenced by others' opinions unless I choose to be. I don't need others' approval. I don't need to please people or to collude with them. All I need is to be me. In his book Messy Spirituality, Mike Yaconelli talks about when a very young kid shows you a picture they've painted and you say, "That's fabulous." And he says, "It's not fabulous. It's rubbish. You don't even know if it's a cow or a boat. The colouring is all outside the lines." But it is fabulous. It's fabulous because that's where they're at, in that place in their life journey. Because it is their picture, and that's what makes it special. It's not about whether it's good enough to hang in an art gallery. In life, it is okay to colour outside the lines. It is okay to be you. Just be true to yourself. See what's going on around you. I want you to pause me again and to watch our next video. This is one of the lockdown online church and it's such a good clip. Enjoy. Apart from the very beginning, did you hear anything that vicar was saying? Being true to yourself means being aware of what's going on around you. Not necessarily letting it define you, but being aware. Guard against self-obsessed. Sometimes there is bigger stuff or other stuff going on. It is not always about you. But self-awareness is a gift to develop. Allow others to help you to understand yourself. I've discovered that life is not about creating yourself. It's about discovering yourself. It's about understanding yourself. A while ago I had an offer from British Gas. It was for free energy on a Sunday, which is fabulous. Except I'm at church. I don't care. I have free energy on a Sunday. I'm out at church. My house is like a sauna. When I come back, it is 35 degrees in my house. You know, you don't need to overkill. You don't have to go over the top. Being true to yourself means living authentically in whatever situation you find yourself, whoever you are with. Robert Holden said, your relationship with yourself sets the tone for every other relationship you have. Let's do a prayer. God, I take a moment to catch a sense, a real sense of who I am. Whatever is going on around me, I want to be true to myself. I don't live in isolation, but I do not have to people please or collude. There are things over which I have no control, but I always have control over how I respond. I do not have to allow fear to dominate my choices or to define me. Today, I will feel the fear, but I will do it anyway. Amen. I'd invite you for a moment just to pause me and to share in a moment for reflection. The bit of music that we're going to listen to is called Nouveau Bianche. Thanks so much for being here and for checking in today. I hope that you will have a good week ahead. Please pause me and listen to our closing songs, which are One Moment in Time and then May God's Blessing Surround You Today, our closing prayer. Take care, and I hope the week ahead will be a good one for you. Bye-bye.